All right. Welcome back to another edition of the Leo G Show. I am Leo G, and podcasting is what I do. We are back for another edition of the Leo G Show. 2 weeks in a row. It's been 2 weeks in a row, people, and we're back. And yes, I'm feeling some type of way today, and I tell y'all why. I'm in my zone. You know what I'm saying? I got my stuff on. Y'all see it. If y'all watch it, y'all will see it. If y'all listen to it, I tell y'all about it. So listen, this is 2 weeks in a row. You know what I'm saying? So I got to turn it over to my man Banks. Banks, what's going on with you, homie?
What's going on, Leo G? How you feeling? What's going on, Derek Cole?
Oh, look, so Derek Cole is in the building. Shout out to my man Derek Cole, who just popped back up. He's in the building, man. He's our live sideline reporter reporting right now from the streets of Detroit as the Falcons get ready to take on the Lions this Sunday. What's going on with you?
He might have some technical difficulties.
He might have some technical difficulties here, man. I don't know what's going on with him, but we'll try to work it out and see what's happening as we continue to record this show. I don't know. Maybe the Wi-Fi over there on 8 Mile isn't doing too hot, but we're gonna continue to rock this thing out. We're gonna continue to do this show as we always do.
I think I am.
Derek Cole, are you back with us?
Back,
are you back with us, man? Okay. I am. I don't know how that Wi-Fi work at the Motel 6 on 8 Mile up there in Detroit. As I was just telling everybody, man, you are a sideline reporter this week, coming live from Detroit, Motor City, man, as the Atlanta Falcons take on the Detroit Lions. Banks,
hey, what's going on, man?
We'll get back to Banks in a minute. Derek Cole, what's going on with you, brother? How you feel?
I don't know what's going on. I'm on my phone this time, so that's probably what it is. But we're going to be all right.
Definitely. We definitely going to be all right, man. We're going to do what we can, man. Derek Cole, man, hold on as long as you can. If you got to go, you got to go. We know how it is, man. So, we'll get into it. No further ado, man. You know how we always do it on the Leo G Show, man. We'll go around everybody, man. It looks like my man Derek Cole out there is still repping for the last day of his little sign. Derek Cole, let the people know what you got and what you're rocking, man. And also let them know what you're drinking.
So, I had to represent King Virgo. That's me. And I am sipping on a little something because, I am on a weight trip. So this is a little Tito's and Red Bull because I need the Red Bull. Been up since 3:15 this morning. So here we go.
Hey, yeah, man, he had to catch that early flight. So we're gonna continue to go. I don't know, Banks, if you can see him on our end, man. Like I said, it's that Motel 6 Wi-Fi he on up there in Detroit. I don't know. But we'll continue to keep moving with him as long as we can. Banks, let everybody know what you got going on and let everybody know what you're drinking on, homie.
I'm just doing a throwback, since we had that throwback game. I'm rocking the Steve Barkowski number 10 at matching hat. And I'm doing the Grand Marnier. So I'm doing it kind of regal today.
It's a Grand Marnier type of day. Banks over there, man, with the Grand Marnier and with the throwback. Shout out to Steve Barkowski, man. I ain't gonna tell everybody how old I am, man, but Steve Barkowski is probably one of the most iconic Falcons quarterbacks, for my generation. I don't want to give up my age or anything like that, even though I'm an old head, man. But shout out to Steve Barkowski, man. One of the better ones that ever did it with this organization, man, for real. So look, man, I'm not doing that major today, man. I got on my Falcon swag. Y'all can see it.
I said, boy, stop talking about you.
Derek Cole, you there? What's up? I don't know. Well, you the elder statesman, man. We know where you at. We'll get there one of these days, but we can't catch it. That's for sure. Man, I got on my Falcon swag. Y'all can see it, man. Y'all see it. I mix it up a little bit, Banks, for you, man. You see the little old school. You know what I'm saying? We do it with the old school Falcon, the original, and then we got the new school Falcon on the pullover, man. I'm not doing that too serious tonight. It's a lax night tonight. I'm gonna bring over what I got. I got some we always do with the bourbon. I got a little Remus Straight bourbon whiskey. This is a single barrel select from the plug over there at Tap House. Shout out to them. It's pretty tasty. It's pretty good, man. It's about to get ran through though, for real. It's that good, I guess. So that's what we are on tonight. I don't have anything else. Maybe on the next podcast, man, I'll feature another beer for my people over there at Wild Heaven. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into this show, man. We're gonna see what it's talking about tonight, man. A lot to get into. We're gonna talk a little Falcons. We'll talk a little bit about our Atlanta Braves as well. But before we get into the meat and thick of the show, man, there's a couple of things that I want to address. Just have a casual conversation about some of the things that are going on with our Atlanta Falcons and with this Atlanta Falcons fan base, man. Because we talk about it. We are fans. First and foremost, the Leo G Show it's a fan-driven podcast, man. All three of us are fans of all of our Atlanta teams, So just we're big on interacting with other fans. That's what we do, and it's just funny, man. I don't know what it is about Atlanta and the fan bases with these teams, but I don't know. We'll get into it a little bit. Before I get into that, though, man, we were talking about throwback players. I want to give a shout out, man, to my man Bad Moon Andre Rison, man, who was at the last home game against. Well, he was at the game against the Carolina Panthers. Damn, the Carolina Panthers was able to meet with him, man, and fellowship with him. Took a picture with him, man. So shout out to my man Bad Moon, man. If you don't know who Bad Moon is, Google the man. I mean, he's an Atlanta legend, man, for real. Like, he is one of my all-time favorite Falcons. Banks, I ain't gonna lie to you, Banks. I fanboyed it up when I seen Andre, man. I had to get a picture and I had to go over there and conversate with him, man. How do you feel about Bad Moon?
I mean, he just brings back the old 1991 kind of Spider-Man. Is that what they called him? When he exited here out of the Atlanta Falcons, went to Kansas City. He's one of the receivers you put on the Mount Rushmore receivers in the ATL. Bad Moon Rising.
Man, not only that, man, his aura is bigger than like life. Like, not only as a football player, man, but just as his, like legend, like on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a guy that could play football, but he was into a lot of other things, man. We all could, talk about, of course, him and Left Eye and the house burning down and the stories of him and Pac and Suge Knight and Big Meech and the entourages. Like, Andre Rison was really like, when Atlanta was coming into its own being Atlanta, Andre Rison was like literally at the forefront of all this stuff, man. He was into the music. He was into a lot of that. I hate to say it, he was in that gangster stuff too, man. But he was a big part of the Falcons, man. He was here with Prime was here. So, man, shout out to my man Bad Moon Rising, man. He was at the first game against Carolina Panthers. Derrico, you got anything
being
about
a former
Bad Moon Rising, man?
receiver
You want to
and
add in?
everything, I'm picking back on Banks. That's one of my favorite wide receivers that came through to Atlanta. He definitely in my top 5. He's definitely in my top 5 of receivers for the Atlanta Falcons. He brought an attitude. He brought a toughness. He brought a little swag. You know what I'm saying? But I really want to ask you, how you tripped up earlier. I want to know how much of that Remus you really hit, because you say it's down below the half a thing. So taking it straight from the bottom or what?
Hey, man, I done got into it. So I opened it up a while ago. I'll save you a little bit to taste, man, next time you get this way, bro. But I've been in it, man. So, but it's pretty tasty. Like I said, single barrel, man. So yeah, I've been in it pretty decent, man. I got into it for sure tonight.
Thank you, sir.
But I'll say you a little bit. I'll say you a taste. All right, so listen, let's get into it, man. Like I said, I want to talk a little bit about the fan base here, man. And guys, just gonna have a casual conversation before we get kind of into the meat of things. Derrico, let us know at any time, man, when you got to bounce. But the fan base, man, let's go ahead and have a casual conversation about the fan base, man, and what's going on with it. Because, like I said, we are fans, and I'm gonna kick it over to you here, Banks, man. Like, it's been good with our Falcons here. We're 2-0. We'll talk about the Packers game here in just a minute, but this fan base, man, I don't know if it's a combination of PTSD or just delusions of grandeur. But this, if you follow or you are part of certain groups on social media, if you go on the Twitter, as my man Derek would say, some of these fans just aren't satisfied, man. They're never satisfied with anything that's going on right now. I mean, whether it's they're not happy with the coaching or the quarterback situation, but we're 2-0 right now. To be celebrated, we're 2-0 right now going into Detroit, first away game. Banks, what is going on with this Falcons fan base, man? Can you just tell me what's going on a little bit with this Falcons fan base?
I have no idea, Leo. For one, like you said, we're 2-0. You think after two wins, at home, had a nice crowd, nice turnout, and it seemed like people are apologizing who we played. I recall last season we started out 1-3. The first game we played was the New Orleans Saints, and we dropped that one, and folks were about to lose their mind, rightfully so. You play Carolina, you play Green Bay, and you win, and people are still upset about something. Like, I'm not understanding. Like, what do you want? What are you looking for in this team to do? This is not a video game, folks. I mean, we play the game to win. It doesn't matter how sexy it look. It don't matter if it's you're not throwing the ball over the yard. I don't get it. The end game is to win. Am I right? Or am I tripping?
You're right. No, you're right. The end game is to win.
Okay, so if that's what we're all okay, so what is it that people want? What do you want when the team doesn't target Kyle Pitts, or he doesn't target Drake London, or if the defense was a bend and don't break, but yet they still got the victory when it mattered? I don't understand. What are we complaining about? It's other teams out there as we speak that wish they were 2-0. Okay, they are some of them sitting there with 0-2, looking at an 0-3 start. So we're not one of those teams. We're coasting. I'm not saying that we arrived, but I mean, I think we're in a good spot. I'll take it every day of the week.
Oh man, listen, Banks. I'm behind you 100%, man. With this, man, I'm happy with a 2-0 start. If you're a fan and you're not happy with a 2-0 start, man, something's wrong with you. You need to go and look within yourself, go seek some therapy or something, man, because there's something else going on. If you a fan of a team, because it's sports, number one. Number two, if you're a fan and your team is 2-0, what do you not have? You should be happy. Like, you should literally be happy. Derek, I'm going to pass this over to you really quickly.
Really quickly.
Take a drink if you got it. Listen. really quickly. Listen, Derek. It's like this here, man. We've had some conversations about this off the podcast. One of the biggest things I guess I want you to talk about here, and maybe you can explain it, I don't know, but we had a lot of Falcons fans on social media this week that were really trying to dismiss, like Banks said, this win against the Packers and us being 2-0. One of the biggest things they tried to say was that the Packers were not at 100%. That's not the Falcons' fault. That's not the Falcons' fault. When you line up to play, you lace them up and play who come out there. The 46, the 53, whoever come out there to play, that's who you play. Why are Falcons fans giving excuses to other teams, and why are they having some, not all, having this issue where they trying to find fault in everything or trying to make an excuse for a 2-0 team?
Y'all know how I feel about this. They ain't fans. They're casuals. I'm going to put that term on the casuals, because no fan that I know of in their right mind would be moaning. I was going to say something else, but I'm going to keep it PG today. Moaning about being 2-0. Like Banks said, there are teams that are 0-2. That's the word I was going to say.
Bitching.
Yes. If you bitching and moaning about a team being 2-0, just get your transfer card paperwork and get it together and go see some team like Arizona. You could be the Arizona Cardinals. That's what you could be. You could be the Arizona Cardinals. Go get on their bandwagon and you can bitch and moan about that team. not the Atlanta Falcons. We 2-0. The crowd has been absolutely ridiculous in the bins. When I say ridiculous, I mean ridiculous. The team has been giving us something to cheer for. The tailgates have been on fire. The city is on fire. So I don't know what else to tell you. You still hung up on the church thing? Fine. Do that. Go over there and go to the congregation and go to the altar and seek some prayer. Because we're gonna celebrate this 2-0 start. Because once you start 2-0, there's a great chance you end up in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And listen, there's another thing before we move on and actually talk about some of the meat of what the podcast is about. I'm gonna put this to bed, fellas. I'm gonna do this the best that I can. Y'all can amen corner this. Y'all can co-sign whatever the case may be, because I know y'all kind of feel the same way I do when it comes to this right here. I'm gonna put this here to bed right now, once and for all. And I'm not gonna bring this up anymore. People are talking about, oh, there are a lot of opposing fans in Mercedes-Benz. Let me put this to bed, okay? Damn near 90% capacity on Sunday against the Packers. I want to say it was probably 60-40, 70-30 Falcons fans. But let me tell you something, fellas. I looked all around the league. I've been watching NFL games for a long time. This past weekend, let me tell you something. I looked at an LA Rams team play San Francisco, and that whole damn stadium was red. I watched Thursday Night Football in San Francisco. They played the Giants, who are all the way on the East Coast, and I saw a whole contingency of Giants fans out there at Levi Stadium, okay? I watched a bunch of games, and I watched a bunch of highlights. There are opposing fans in droves at a lot of these NFL stadiums, okay? It's not just the Falcons Stadium, people. It's everywhere. Derek Cole's in Detroit right now. He traveled to go see the team. That's what people do. Okay? Get over it, man. This is not just an Atlanta thing. So I'm putting this to bed. If you still want to sit up here and talk about, listen, it's overrun by opposing teams, it's not. Stop it. You got legacy teams. Their fans are always going to represent and show up all over the country, no matter where their team plays. I don't care. But I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear this no more about the opposing fans in Atlanta, because this is not just an Atlanta thing. This is all over the league. Banks, go ahead.
Let me just say this right quick. And you said about the legacy teams. You know, you talk about Pittsburgh, who travels well, rightfully so. Guess what? At week 1, Pittsburgh Steelers played the 49ers. 49ers about took over that field in Pittsburgh, okay? You would think that they have more pride in the Steeler country to have 49er fans all over that stadium, okay? It doesn't matter who you are. Let me make this point of what you're saying, Leo, about teams travel. In this city, when you saw all the Green Bay fans, hell, even the Carolina fans that was there week 1, I say about a good 80% of them live here with you in this city, okay? They are natives of Atlanta, Georgia, okay? They're not driving all the way from Green Bay here to Atlanta. There's not buses outside the game after we leave, after the game is over, to see Green Bay fans take it back to Wisconsin. No, they get on the MARTA train and heading back to H.E. Holmes, getting back to the west side, okay? Let's make that clear. That's any team that comes here. We're in the melting pot of transient fans. Whatever team we play, you're going to have fans of that team there, especially in this city. Okay?
Absolutely.
We play Houston.
And guess what?
We play Houston, Texas next. You're going to have Houston fans there, I promise you.
And guess what? Let me tell y'all something, people. If you listen to this podcast and you live in another city and you want to move here, we full. I'm about to put the checkpoints up all around 285, man. We full. We full. We can't take any more. We're at capacity.
Detroit fans.
Derek, what's up, brother?
Because one of the guys we were talking to said he got 2 daughters from Detroit that live in Atlanta, and told him point blank, Daddy, I ain't never coming back home. So let me tell you something. Atlanta gives people something that they can represent. I don't care if they're from another city or not. There's a lot of people that didn't grow up or was born in Atlanta, that's in Atlanta. So yeah, kill that noise about other fans in the stadium. We gonna be in this stadium on Sunday, I can guarantee you that. We debunking the fact that Falcon fans don't travel. So I want to put that out there too. So don't get it twisted. We move just like everybody else move. Look, y'all got y'all belts out today. Y'all got y'all got y'all belts out and your boxing
Absolutely,
gloves today.
absolutely,
I
man.
like this energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely, man. Listen, and Leo G and Banks, we still got a lot of season left, so don't think that you know what I'm saying. We not gonna travel too. Derrico was just the first one to jump out there, man. But we'll probably end up at one of these away games too. We travel, so I don't know what you heard. If you heard the Falcons fans don't travel, then you were sadly mistaken. Because let me tell you something, man. Our resumes are very very long when it comes to this traveling thing. When it comes to these 30 birds. So listen, I'm gonna
Listen,
get up off my
we got receipts, bro. We got straight receipts about that. Okay,
receipts.
we've been to other
We all
away
got
games.
receipts.
We've been to Tennessee. We about took
We've
over
taken
Nissan
over
Stadium.
stadiums. We've
We've
taken
been to
over
Soldier
stadiums.
Field. About
We've
had
been.
a half and half in there. Listen,
I've
I've
been
been to Carolina.
overseas. I've
I've
been
been
over
to
the pond,
Tampa.
across the
Okay,
pond,
I've been to New
across the
Orleans.
pond,
It's
baby.
a crap load of Falcon fans everywhere we go. Okay, crap load. I recall a couple of years back, Falcons played the San Diego Chargers all the way in California. Why was it half the stadium red? It don't tell me that people in San Diego like the Falcons. I'm not buying it. People got their butts on the airplane and went to damn San Diego.
And let me tell y'all something. If y'all don't believe us, listen to what the players say. Listen to what the players say when they go to these away stadiums and they say, hey, we heard the Dirty Bird Nation. We heard them boys. We heard them guys and gals they're representing. So we're gonna kill that noise, man. I'm off my soapbox, Derrico. I'm off my soapbox, Banks, about that. Hopefully, we're gonna never bring that back up because I'm done talking. I'm done talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Unless somebody want to really confront me on that train over the helmet to E home. So listen, let's get into this game, man. Green Bay Packers. Falcons take a win 25-24 over the Green Bay Packers, man. It was an ugly win. Something that we are not used to here over the last 6 or 7 years, winning games ugly, right? This is one of these games where in the past couple of years, we were like, you know what? We're not built for this. But apparently, these guys are built for this. This coach is built for this. And we were able to go out and get this win and get the 2-0 by any means necessary, to quote my man Malcolm X, right? This was not a pretty game by no means. Derrico, I'm gonna give it over to you here first before we start talking about the stats and the meat of it, man. How impressed were you with this Falcons team going out there and getting a win by any means necessary? Because we know that has not been something on our resume where we go
Hey,
out and
let me
get
put it in
ugly wins,
perspective
but
for
we did
y'all.
it Sunday
It's
against the
simple.
Packers.
My wife said we never usually win games when we're behind. We came from behind and put that ATL stomp in the Green Bay Packers asses. I'm gonna say it. I don't care if it was a 1 point game. You know what the column says? W. It could be a half a point, a third of a point. I don't care. It's a dub. And we're going to take that dub any way we can get it because, like you said, we have not been built like this in a long time. And I can tell you one thing for sure, that they're going to get some exciting football from this squad. I mean, let me stop because I was about to get into some other points.
Oh yeah. Hold on. We're gonna get into it. Banks. Hey, this like Derrico just said, this squad ain't been built like this in a long time, man. But we came out with a scrappy win. I think we were down as much as 12 points going into the fourth quarter. Found a way to win by a point, man. I mean, I'm loving this. Dude, let me tell you, before you expand on this, brother, mentally, man, I was trying to prepare myself for a fourth quarter outcome because my PTSD it showed up. But listen, this team built different. This team is built different, Banks.
It all starts up front, Leo. The line of scrimmage. I watched that game in the fourth quarter, and I saw a toughness that I'm not used to seeing. Now, you had mentioned something about a scrappy win or an ugly win. I'll take an ugly win over a pretty loss every single week. And that's dead ass on that. Ain't nothing wrong with an ugly win. Okay, it's not style points in NFL. I don't know who told you wrong or who told you different. They lied to you. Wins are a premium in the NFL. If you get one, you better get it. Get it how you can get it. No matter how you got it, you got it. Now, looking back on it, we usually on the other side of that, being up in the fourth quarter and let a team walk you down. Been feeling that too many times in my Falcon fanhood, okay? To actually be the one doing it feels very good. It feels awesome, actually. To see those Green Bay fans go, Pack, go, and about 10 minutes later, they were looking dumbfounded as like, what the hell just happened? Yeah, you go back, go, Pack, go home. That's exactly what you just did. So it felt good, Leo. That was a different stance that my team just did. They came out there and said, we're not losing this game. And we gonna by hook or by crook, we're gonna get this dub. Loved it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I get into in just a second the persona that this team is taking on in just a second. But I want to get into some stats here, fellas. I want to get into some stats. I want to get into something really, really cool here, and I want to get your take, both of you guys' take on this. So listen, the rookie Bijan Robinson has there's no secret, and I don't know if we lost Derek Cole, if he'll come back or not, but if he does, we'll get him in on the conversation. But right now, Banks, we'll talk about this here, man. Bijan Robinson, listen, was drafted for a reason. This team wanted Bijan Robinson to be here for a reason. No matter what, I know there were other people on the board that some of these fans wanted to take, but let me tell you something, man. If it wasn't for this, bro, if it wasn't for Bijan Robinson, I don't think we'd get the result. Bijan Robinson, a rookie, put this team on his back. He put his team on his back for 124 on the ground and 48 receiving. Banks, let me tell you something. People kind of undervalue the running back position. The NFL has undervalued the running back position. But looking at Bijan Robinson, man, this kid is special. We talked about this after the draft. When we drafted him, I think we were all in agreement that this kid was going to come in and be something special. He's already showed it 2 games in what he's about. Banks, how are you feeling 2 games in? I know we still got a long season to go, but just the way he's been, his approach to the game, what he's been able to do. How are you feeling now about this draft pick and this young man and what he's been able to do, man, thus far, man?
It's funny you should say that. You said the league undervalues the running back position. You said people undervalue the running back position. You know who don't undervalue it? My head coach, Arthur Smith. He doesn't undervalue. You know what he did? He said, 4th down, I'm going for it. I'm putting my workhorse out there. Try to stop him. He did it 3 times. Not necessarily with Bijan, but he had the kahunas to go for 4th down 3 times. Okay? 2 of them was with Bijan. And he got it with the one particular 4th down was the most important one right before the 2-minute warning. That set us up for Green Bay to burn their timeouts, which was genius. Genius. Now, that next 4th down, I believe Arthur wanted to go for it again. But I think someone had to say, hey, man, we got to kick this field goal, because your luck going to run out one of these days. But
because obviously we didn't have the lead. You got to.
We didn't have the lead. Listen, at the end of the day, you were still losing, okay?
Yeah.
Get the points. Get the points. I understand how tempting it was to go ahead and run him again, and because they weren't stopping him. I mean, they got this particular man going on an overhead, like a drone view or something, but the camera was actually in the Raptors. If you ever saw it on Twitter, it's the most iconic run of Bijan's career so far when he broke 3 ankles. I've never seen a player on a Falcons roster break 3 ankles in one play. Now, I've seen Michael Vick run. I've seen Michael Turner the Burner run. I've seen Jamal Anderson run. I ain't never seen them break 3 ankles at once. I've never seen it.
Man.
And that's what Bijan just did.
Something special, man. something special. If you're a Falcons fan, man, I think we're witnessing something very special. I've been watching football for a long time, Banks, and I've never seen a running back do some of the things that he's done in two games. We got a lot of football left. Right now. I've been praying. I've been praying to keep this man healthy, to get this man this strength. Because, dude, if he continues to play like he plays, if he continues to do the things that he's been doing, man, we could do a lot with this offense. And it takes a lot of pressure off the next person that I'm gonna talk about, and that's gonna be Desmond Ritter. Obviously, Desmond Ritter and what we just talked about with the grittiness and what we want to do as a team, Desmond Ritter is now the personality, is not a persona that this team has now taken after. I listened to this young man in the press conference after. If you hadn't had a chance, go listen to his presser after the Green Bay Packers game. And one of the reporters said, hey, he made the statement, and don't quote me on this, I'm saying this verbatim, about being down and out. Desmond Ritter stopped him in the middle of the question and said, hey, man, we're never down and out. He said, we never out. He said, we're going to fight all the way to the bell. And I mean, this dude is now embodying what you want out of a team. Desmond Ritter has now become the team. They're rallying behind his words. They're rallying behind his leadership. And yes, a lot of Falcons fans find his style of play lackluster. But let me tell you something, man. I want this out of my quarterback. I want this type of leadership out of my quarterback. This young man has been doing this since his Cincinnati days. And let me tell you something else, people. This man is still undefeated at home in Mercedes-Benz. Banks, I'm kicking it over to you, man. I know what we've been hearing from this fan base, man, but how impressed are you with this young man, Desmond Ritter, and what he is now pushing and injecting into this team, man?
Talk your stuff, Desmond Ritter. Talk your stuff, Desmond Ritter. Put some respect on that man's name. Let me tell you something. I don't know what y'all looking for. Again, I said earlier, this is not Madden. I don't know if y'all want a quarterback to run all over the yard and throw for 500 yards. You're not going to do in today's NFL. That just don't happen. Okay, all the great running backs that's out there that's considered great. You know, they had some subpar games. I can't even think of them all. The Buffalo's quarterback. I mean, he's all right as of so far.
Josh Allen.
Thank you. And you got I mean, the only one I can really say that's really doing superb is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's it. I mean, everybody else look okay at least, but you want to come down on Desmond Ritter? He's a winner.
Listen, let me cut.
Hold on. Let me say this right fast. I don't know what he was on when he ran for that touchdown. He was getting into it with somebody in the stands. Don't have no clue who he was talking to, but he was getting him the business. That was a guy who's tired of all the talk. Listen, we hear it. I guarantee he hear it too. He's sick of it. You labeled this man as the worst quarterback in the league. You have quarterbacks that's just who haven't played one down was rated higher than him. That's disrespectful. Like, this man played at least 4 games prior. I don't get it. I don't know why this man is getting so much disrespect. I don't get it.
Let me say this much before we move on here, Banks. Listen to this, man. I'm gonna say this much. A lot of people have criticized this guy from day one since we drafted him. We knew the quarterback situation after Matt Ryan. We talked about this. We knew where we were as a franchise when it comes to the quarterback position. Last year, Mariota was brought in for a gap year. Obviously, they've given Desmond Ritter the keys to the team. He's off and running, and there's a reason why they did that. But here's one of the things that another thing I want to put to bed too, Banks. I'm burying a lot of stuff tonight. We're going to have a funeral and bury a lot of stuff. This fan base has the nerve to talk about, oh, well, we can't do a lot of stuff with Desmond Ridder. We can't open up the playbook. We can't do this. We can't do that. Man, dude, listen, let me tell you something, man. You do what you need to do with what you have. I think Arthur Smith is a genius, and he has been able to utilize the strengths that Desmond Ridder has to make us successful through 2 games. Okay? We're not going to go out there and throw the ball 70 times. That's not what we're about. Okay? We run the football. We're a physical team, and then we take what we can get in the passing game. Why are we going to demand Desmond Ridder do something that, when we know for a fact we can run the football relatively well? So why are we going to demand Desmond Ridder throw the ball 70 times? That's insane. That is insane. So why are we trying to compare him to other quarterbacks that are in offenses that demand them do those things? Okay? We got 2 stud running backs. Okay? I know we drafted Kyle Pitts high. I know we drafted Drake London high, but at the end of the day, like you said, Banks, this ain't about fantasy stats. This is about winning football games. So Desmond Ridder has done what has been asked of him. His passing stats ain't been that bad. He threw his first pick this past Sunday. We talked about this, Banks. We knew it was going to happen. It's gone now. 6 games, he threw his very first pick. And guess what? He was getting hit when he threw it. I mean, this dude has done everything asked of him. So like you said, Banks, all these people that have been the naysayers and the doubters, man, I hope he continue to keep proving them wrong and doing what he needs. The only people that he needs to be concerned with is Arthur Smith and Dave Ragone, the offense coordinator. Everybody else, he don't need to listen to. He's doing what he needs to do at quarterback, Banks. He's doing what he needs to do at quarterback.
I totally agree, man. I think that people out here looking for the flash and glamour of offense of an NFL team. I always felt that people who complain the loudest are the ones who can't brag at the end. It's the ones that the way the Falcons won the game wasn't really something that you want to brag about. I mean, it was, quarterback play. It was, it was okay, I guess. It was
Banks.
It was
Banks. I'm gonna give you the stat. Hold on, wait 1 second. I'm gonna give you the stats before we move on. Listen, Desmond Ridder was 19 of 32 for 237 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked once. What more do you want from him in a win? What more do you want, people? Like, what are you not entertained? Like Russell Crowe said in Gladiator, are you not? What more do you want from this man?
And that's just it, Leo. They're not entertained. They want to be entertained. I heard this from other podcasts. This fan base rather be entertained than win. And it shows. You have a quarterback who was having a I'm not gonna say struggle, but it was stat line that wasn't desirable in the first half. Second half, he adjusted. It's almost like he put the team on his back and he won us the game, folks. We were down. Going into the fourth quarter, 24-12. And for some reason, somehow we got a victory. You know what? We didn't run every single play. You know that, right? We didn't run every single play. We actually passed the ball in some key moments. That could not happen without Desmond Ridder. You know what Desmond Ridder did on a fourth down play? He ran the ball into the end zone, folks. You remember the same thing you said you wanted Matt Ryan to do is run the ball? That's what he did. He's got some wheels, but you still hate Banks, this man.
Listen. Oh, he was just throwing the ball to Bijan on the screen. He threw the ball to 6 different people. He threw the ball to 6 different receivers. Miss me with this, man. Miss me with this mess. But y'all got to come harder than this when y'all start talking all this craziness. This man threw the ball to 6 different people. You know what I'm saying? 6 people had receptions, including Kyle Pitts, including Jonnu Smith. Bijan Robinson obviously had 4. Matt Collins with 3. And Drake, guess what? Drake London had 6 receptions. Of course, he didn't have 150 yards, but he had 6 receptions. Miss me with this, people. Desmond Ridder's doing what he's been asked to do. We're 2-0 going into the Detroit game. Banks, let's move on. Let's talk about this Detroit game, man. Big win, hell of a win against the Packers, 25-24. I know we want to talk a little bit more about what's going on, but we'll talk about some of the things that they did well in the Packers game going into this Detroit Lions game and what they'll have to continue to do. So listen, we're going into Detroit, man. Detroit is coming out at 1-1 right now. They opened the season up huge win against the defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. And then they took an L in overtime against the Seattle Seahawks, man. They fought tooth and nail all the way to the end. Listen, man, this is a Dan Campbell football team that's been fighting. First time in like over, I want to say 2 decades that the Detroit Lions have sold out season tickets. Shout out to our boy Derek Cole, who's up there right now. He'll be there in the game, be there Sunday. I think this is going to be a tough, gritty matchup. This is going to be a game that's going to be physical. This is going to be if you're an old school fan of football, I'm thinking that this game is going to be that. It's going to be a physical game. That he has brought the Detroit Lions brand of football, man, to be physical. The GM that they have up there has brought in some good talent, man. This is a decent team up there in Detroit, and they got a lot to be proud about, man. So going into this game here, Banks, let's talk about this. Let's talk about what the Falcons need to do in order to go into Detroit and get this victory. Detroit has they have a good offensive line. They got a guy by the name of Penei Sewell who can play pretty much everywhere on the offensive line. And some Falcons fans say, well, you should have drafted him. We can't draft everybody, people. Wake up. Let me tell you something, man. If you start throwing out people, Banks, let me get on this soapbox for just a second, and I'm going to get off and I'm going to pass it to you. We cannot draft everybody. Okay? We just can't. We should have drafted him. We should have drafted this. We should have drafted him. We can't draft everybody, people. All right, let me get off that soapbox. So, yes, Detroit does some things well. Good offensive line. The defense have been playing good right now, man. Some of the keys with the Falcons, we're going to have to continue to run the ball and be successful with that. And we're going to continue to have to be efficient defensively, especially in both halves. Banks, what do you see this game, and how do you see the Falcons trying to move to 3-0 against the Detroit Lions? What do they have to do in order to get this victory up there, man?
First and foremost, the line of scrimmage got to be tough. That's offensive line and defensive line. I'm looking at Jared Goff over there in Detroit. He's masterful. He's very masterful ever since he got there. You know, he was kind of laughed out of L.A., and then he gets to Detroit. He found a second win, if you will. You have to come with it all 4 quarters, not just the fourth quarter. You have to bring it defensively to them. It's almost like we got to bring the fight to Detroit, because I'm telling you, they're at home. They kind of salty that they lost that game against Seattle. You got to go up there and bring it to them. You know, we can't sit back and wait to see what they're going to do. You know, we have to be aggressive on defense, period. I kind of know, I think we can both agree that the running game is going to be there. We got to see some kind of I'm not going to say it just, overthinking it. Cordell Patterson is coming back to the roster. That's huge in my eyes. You got a guy who has been asked to be the man for the last 2 years, okay? Now he comes in and he doesn't have to be the man. Just play your game. So if he's the joker, that means they're going to line him up all over that field. I'm eager to see what we're going to, bring out there. They're saying that there's a play that Arthur Smith has basically got under a glass box and break in case of emergency. All 3 running backs on the field at the same time. Interesting. Like, that's almost to the point where it's like you don't know where the ball is going. If you got all 3 running backs in the game at once, that's ballsy. It's almost like, what you going to do? What you going to stop? If they going to do that, then Detroit going to have their hands full. I'm looking at it as a real close game, Leo. Of the games we played against Detroit Lions, that far as I can remember, has been close and came down to the last
Absolutely.
play, the very last play. Every
Absolutely.
last game, every last one of them. So it won't be no different in this one. It's going to probably
Let me
come
tell
to
you
the
something,
very
people.
last play.
Hey, look, I'm not expecting a blowout, man. I'm expecting a win. So for all you people that want a 90-0 shutout, man, y'all done lost y'all mind, man. Y'all have lost y'all mind. Let me tell you something. This is gonna be a gritty, scrappy fight. I'm hoping that the Falcons are ready for it. I'm hoping that Desmond Ritter has been talking to these boys all week about going out there and and continuing this fight all the way to the end, because that's what we got to do defensively. Like you said, Banks, we talked a little bit about this off air, man. Playing 4 quarters, man. Listen, the Falcons only got 1 sack last week against Green Bay. They only got 1 sack, but listen, we did what we needed to do in order to preserve the win. That last possession by Green Bay, by all means, we knew for a fact Green Bay needed to get in the field goal position, right? We talked about this. Our PTSD started acting up like, oh, Lord, they just got to get in the field goal position. What did the Falcons defense do? Shut it down. We go home. So listen, man, I'm saying it like this here, Banks. I'm riding with you. This is gonna be a gritty, grimy win. Go out here, run the ball, do what you need to do. Let's open up the playbook. Hopefully, we can put a little bit more on Desmond Ritter. His confidence level has continued to grow. That's what you want to see. You want to see growth with a young quarterback, man. You know what I'm saying? This ain't a guy that's been in the league for 10, 15 years. This is a guy that's been in the league 2 years, going into his 7th game. You want to see growth, and you want to see him continue to go out there and do what he does, man. I'm thinking that we'll be able to go ahead and handle our business, man, and do what we do. Desmond Ritter does not have an away game win under his belt. I think that he very much wants that, and he wants to, go into the next week as we go over to London to play Jacksonville 3-0. I'm looking forward to it, man. But it's gonna be a great game. If you're a Falcons fan and if you're not built for close games to the wire, Banks, we've been doing this for a long time, man. So listen, if you ain't got the stomach for it, man, you can sign your permission slip to transfer to another team. Bye, see you. But this is what it's about. This is what it's about, man. I think the line is 3 points. That means it's a push. It's a gimme game. They're giving Detroit 3 points because it's a home game. But listen, I think that our boys are going to be prepared, and I think our boys are going to be able to bring it home, man, and do what they need to do against, a tough Detroit team. And this is going to be an early test as to what we could do against good teams, because I feel like Detroit is going to be the team that actually wins the NFC North. In my opinion, I think Detroit is going to win the NFC North when it's all said and done. So this is going to be a good test and a good measuring stick to see where you are as a team. I mean, you already beat Green Bay. They're in that division. So let's see what we do against Detroit. Listen, Banks, we're going to keep it moving here in just a second. But I want to ask you this before we move forward. What is the one thing, what is the one improvement that you want to see in this Detroit game that you haven't seen yet that you want to see? I know you touched a little bit about bringing Cordero Patterson back and seeing what he could do with this offense, but what is another thing, or what is one of the things that you want to see this Falcons team do that you haven't seen in the first 2 games?
Pass protection. Straight pass protection. Protect Desmond Ritter. That's all I want. Just get him protection. Let him see the field like he's supposed to, and not when he hiked the ball and somebody in his face. Give me something. And I want to call no players out, but I am Caleb. Protect him, please. Protect Desmond Ritter. That's what I want to see.
Hey, man, I'm going to piggyback on you with that, man. Pass protection is much. Just in the trenches, period, man. Protect the trenches, man. Do what y'all need to do in the trenches. On the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball, man. Let's do what we need to do both. Stop the run, get some pressure. And on the offensive side of the ball, man, we know we can run the ball. Let's do some pass protection, man. Let's work on that, man. Let's give Desmond some time, man, to be great at quarterback. Banks, listen, man, we're coming up on the mark on this show, man. I know we want to talk about the Braves, and I want to talk a little bit about Atlanta United. So we'll talk about the Braves here quickly as we move into the playoffs with the Braves here. Listen, we in there. We know that. NL East champions. I think tonight got another game, got a series against the Washington Nationals, if I'm not mistaken, at the time that we're doing this podcast. So listen, Banks, want to talk a little bit about the Braves. Hey, the thing about going into the playoffs in any sport is being hot. The Braves fan base almost have a little PTSD as well. A little bit of a hangover after clinching the NL East up in Philly. I guess they haven't been playing as perfect as people wanted them to play, but we're still moving. Took a W last night against the Nationals, man. How do you feel about this Braves team going into the playoffs here, moving into the postseason into October, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. It's World Series of bust. The Braves are the best team in the National League. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. That's how Leo G feel about it. Braves best team in the National League. Banks, how do you feel about this?
Let me correct you for a second. Braves are the best team in baseball. Let's get that straight. The way I look at it is the Braves, they clinched the division. They were smoking hot going all the way to that final game when they clinched it. And it's almost like they took the foot off the accelerator and put it in cruise control. Listen, we still got to fight for that home field. You do not want to play Game 7 in LA. If both teams make it, you don't want to be in LA on Game 7. You want to be at home. That goes for the World Series as well, because if you look, Baltimore's 2 games behind you. You want home field throughout. You don't want to go to nobody's house trying to win any games. You want them to come to Truist and roll the dice there. Let me tell you something. The Braves have seen adversity ever since April. Okay? Everybody calm down. Yeah, they're not playing their baseball right now, but you don't want them to burn themselves out all the way to the very last day of the season and lay an egg in the postseason. We just saw that last year when we had to walk the New York Mets down and then we had nothing left for Philadelphia. Listen, slow and steady wins the race, okay? We had adversity all throughout the year. I put full trust in this Braves team, okay? Max Fried is on the 15 disabled list. He's resting that finger, okay? We don't need Max Fried right now. We need Max Fried in those postseason. Everybody take a deep breath. We're going to be okay. Slow and steady wins the race. We want home field throughout the playoffs. Just win a few more games here between Washington and the Chicago Cubs. We all in there. But we be fine. We will be fine.
We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And we're not scared of Philly in the playoffs, like you said, Banks, like we was last year. And, man, we ain't scared of nobody, man. Bring them on, man. This team is special. This team has been playing.
It took a monumental task to walk the Mets down, okay? The Mets was awesome last year. They had a humongous lead on the Braves last year. How people forget about that? We walked them down since July of last year to get to September to claim the division, and we had nothing left, guys. We had nothing left in the tank. It took 4 months to do that.
A very special team, man, with players that have been doing special things, man. Acuna, Matt Olson, all these guys have been doing things that are just record-breaking, monumental things. The pitching isn't, it's not as sexy as you would like for it to be. But this is a gritty team. This is a team, I think, Snedeker, we talk about the team's persona. I think the teams that since Snedeker has been the manager, they've taken on his persona of going out and grinding and doing what they need to do, man. I think we'll be okay. Listen, we're going to wrap this thing up here in just a second. One other thing I want to talk about here really quickly, and I'm tapped out. But Banks, if you want to take a swig, you can. Atlanta United, before we get off this thing, man, they're going into the playoffs. Got a couple of games left here as well. I want to talk about something before we sign out. So we went to the last game. It's 2 games past. We took a win against Inter Miami. Messi didn't show up. He was down there in Miami eating some weird pizza, man. Y'all go on Twitter or Instagram and see that weird pizza he was eating, man. Banks. Messi didn't show up. Kind of glad he didn't. He was down there eating weird tomato pizza, man. We took a W going into. I think we're good. We could have clinched a playoff spot last night, but we didn't. Well, Wednesday night we didn't. We ended up getting a draw with DC United. So we're going into the game against Montreal this weekend as we record this podcast, man. Atlanta United put the beat down on a Miami messyless team, man. How do you feel about that? And we'll get into that a little later, man. Hopefully we'll do another podcast going into the playoffs with MLS. But Messi didn't show. He didn't show up to the Benz, man. How do you feel about that? And how do you feel about that United win against Inter Miami?
Looks like a lot of those folks and that came to Mercedes-Benz need their money back, because I'm sure that's everybody wanted to go see was Messi. I don't know. I think they're going to take the win, brother. Either way we can get it. Listen, I listened to that match on Wednesday, and they had a 1-0 lead all the way until they didn't. And it's like, damn, we could have had, ground in the standings, and we dropped it and still got a result. But I mean, it's like, was that Charlotte FC had the tie with Philadelphia, but they had a 2-0 lead, and we could have ended it right there and didn't do it. So
yeah,
it's cool. Like I said, let's just keep moving forward, to these postseason.
And we did, just on a side note, we did lose the belt. The belt stays in Nashville, Banks, on the southern. Can't think of the whole term though, or what we named it, but if you don't know, Google it, man. Got the Southern Championship belt between Nashville, Charlotte, Atlanta, and DC. The table stand, we didn't get the win. If we would have got the win, got the 3 points against DC, belt would have came home to Atlanta, where we started this whole Southern rivalry thing, man. But it stays up in Nashville for another year, so we weren't able to retain the belt. But hopefully, man, maybe next year we'll come back and do the damn thing, man. But yeah, going into the playoffs, let's see what Atlanta United has. They've been playing some inspired football here, man, so I'm excited. We'll see what they do. But look, Banks, we are pushing the end of the show, man. It's always, I thank you, brother, for coming on, man, and helping me do this thing, man. Before we close out, man, as always, man, let the people know where they can find you, man.
Well, before I do that, I'm going to come clown you right fast. You called Braves manager Snicker. It's Snicker, sir, not Snicker. But anyway, you can find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook, or you can find me on Baby Banks 80 on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Baby Banks 80 on Instagram. And no hard feelings there, Leo. Just trying to correct you, sir. That's all.
Listen, Snit.
It's not Snicker. It's Snicker.
Snit.
Want to give a shout out also too before you go. Atlanta Dream fell to the Dallas Wings, I believe, in the playoffs. 2 games to none. Good job, ladies. You guys made the playoffs. Build on it, and let's see what we can do next year.
Snit, man. My apologies, dog. I'm sorry, man. But look, keep doing what you do up there, man. We ready for another parade down here, man. That's what we ready for, man. Anyway, man, you can always catch us, man, the Leo G Show on Facebook if you're still there. You can also catch us on the X, formerly known as Twitter, the Leo G Show, the #1. That's the Leo G Show at the #1, man. Shout out to my man, Banks. I forgot to tell you, Mike Bell. I saw Mike Bell at the Atlanta United game, man. Personality on 92.9 The Game. You can check him out, man. And I just wanted to shout out to him, man. Really cool dude, man. Met him. Man, he loves the fans, man. So I got to shout him out. So yeah, catch us over there on the X or whatever you want to call that now, man. You can also catch me out over there on the X, formerly known as Twitter. It's at Southern Set with 2 T's. At Southern Set with 2 T's, man. Listen, man, it's always fun, man. This has been therapeutic, Banks. Derico, man, I hope you have a wonderful time, great time up there in Detroit. Stay off of 7 Mile and 8 Mile.
Bring us back a win, brother.
Bring us back a win. Yes, sir, man. Have fun up there in Detroit, man. This has been another edition of the Leo G Show. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you. Have a good one.